If Shang-Chi is just a taste of what's to come from Marvel's Phase 4, then consider me eager and waiting for the rest. So last night I saw Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and I was honestly surprised. Now I went in expecting a good film, it's Marvel anyways, but Shang-Chi is not a character that most people know about. I had never heard about him before this movie was announced, and even with some cursory research into the character, I didn't find a whole lot. And knowing especially that for this interpretation of the character, they were changing the origin and a lot of the background of the character, you know, it was kind of up in the air as to what exactly was going to happen in the movie. From the moment the movie started, I was blown away at just the aesthetic chosen for this movie. It is a beautiful film. The cinematography is flawless throughout. The colors are vivid and beautiful, while also being dark and dingy at some times. It fits the mood perfectly. Each piece of scenery, every set, fits the story and serves it to be just a great sum of its parts. But visuals aside for a second, how is the actual story and substance of the film? Well, in my opinion, that's where it shines the most. The acting performances are amazing. You know, Simu Liu is a new name for a lot of people, myself included, but he is going to be a name to watch. He absolutely kills it in this role. Shang-Chi, he gives him so much life, a lot of likability, a lot of realism. It feels like someone you could actually run into on the streets of San Francisco. Awkwafina, the more I see her and stuff, the more I love her. She just, again, steals the show in this role and just absolutely kills it as Katie, Shang-Chi's best friend. The big surprise for me with this film and this cast was Tony Leung. This is actually, if I'm correct, his first Hollywood film ever. And he absolutely just does a masterclass in this movie. He rounds out a character that on the first look could be just a cartoonishly evil villain, but Tony Leung is able to ground Wenwu and gives him a lot of depth and a lot of understanding and sympathy almost at times. Another thing that I was very happy with was just how well this movie was written. It's a 2-hour and 12-minute runtime, but honestly, I could have done with a 3 or 4 hour cut. I don't want to spoil anything, but you get to see a lot of Shang-Chi's past, what he was running from, and how it catches up with him. In the comics, he's known as being one of the best, if not the best, martial artists in the Marvel Universe. And this, of course, builds on that, but also you get a little bit more depth than just his martial arts prowess. Another thing that I thought was great is that you don't have to have seen any other Marvel movie to really appreciate this one. Granted, there are a couple references here and there that you'll be able to understand what they fully mean if you have seen everything else, but this isn't like an Infinity War or an Endgame where you have to know what's going on leading up to these events. Shang-Chi could easily have not have been a Marvel movie. It could have just been another fun fantasy adventure film, and it would have been just as good. There's something about this movie that just feels different from Marvel. You know, it doesn't have the same normal Marvel formula. What you do get is a lot of heart and just a different approach to the storytelling. As I said at the beginning, this film is one of the first tastes of what is to come from Phase 4 of Marvel. And if this is anything to go off of, I think we as fans are in for a huge treat. This felt so refreshing, so different, so new, but also still familiar at the same time. And I think that if Kevin Feige and company, you know, continues to pursue these different approaches to superhero films and these different characters and storylines, and just branches out from where they started in the first few phases, they're in for a home run. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is a solid recommendation for me, and I implore you, if you feel safe and if you are able to, please go see it in theaters. Get this movie the recognition it deserves. Go to the movies. See something cool.